Hello guys, and welcome to another episode 38 already. It feels like we've not really done that much in Over the North to be on episode 38. If you think about factions, we were done at about episode 40, but I guess we've been a bit more in depth, a bit more relaxed on this one. So, let's speak to Bartholos. Actually, remember we met Hayda in the last episode, and we can actually get her as a hero by completing this quest here, which is pretty cool, mainly because it's got stuff to do with the White Mantle. So, hello Bartholos.
What news?
Hayda was looking for you, Tom. She went ahead into Sparkfly Swamp and asked you to meet her there. It's rare to see her this motivated, so I can only assume that it's something important. You'll need to speak with her to ascertain the details. So she hasn't even told Bartholos what's going on, which isn't too good. So our reward there, Hayda joins our party. 10,000 experience, but nobody really cares about that. Sure, a brisk hike in the swamp sounds great. No adventures with the crazy swamp lady for me. Yes, so... yeah, I don't really like her that much. Really, I don't really care about her, but whatever. Okay, so there we go. That's our 8 people. Let's go on out. This quest, I don't know what this episode is going to be like. We've got this one quest to do. I think I might do that quest inside the Bloodstone Caves as well. There's actually 2 there. You're basically just getting like this killing ettins for equipment, essentially. They're a bit weird, those quests. I don't know whether it was... They kind of seem to me like it was like a new person came on at ArenaNet and they were like his first ever test quests. They just seem a bit odd. But in any case, right, so Hayda's just a little bit to the north. This bit on this quest, by the way, this is the bit that's kind of annoying because she spawns near a group of, I think it's Angadorans, and if you're not quick or if you don't pull them away, raptors are going to run in on you as well. Oh, there's a group, speaking of which. Yeah, it is this. So generally you can try and pull them if you want, which is what I'm going to do. I've never done this before, I'm just going off of what Wiki said, but you know, oh, look at those eggs, that's pretty cool. I've never noticed those before. So yeah, last episode I spent a lot of the time just talking about Gamescom a lot. Of course, that, and I uploaded it early for you guys. Gamescom's actually still going on as I do this video. It turns out I was going to wait for the whole thing, but generally I've spent the last 2 days just completely absorbed in every video that's come out. So yeah, generally I'm quite happy with everything that happened with Gamescom. One of the main things I don't want to talk about it too much, because I've been thinking actually last episode where I mentioned, yeah, look, the Raptors are here anyway, so I did that wrong. But I mentioned last episode about people sort of watching this in the future, and it does occur to me that you guys really don't give a shit about all the stuff that came out of Gamescom. So to keep it a little bit timeless, I mean, you guys have all seen what you've seen. If you want to know more of my opinions, you can always ask me in the comments and stuff. But the main thing I did want to talk about basically is I put out that episode just as we were going into the Bloodstone Caves, and I was talking about the new design of the Asura. Gamescom showed me that the Asura are actually pretty cool. They're still definitely trying to make them cute. They've done all this stuff with like their animations. But you can make Asura with the shark teeth and sort of the glass black eyes, and I can't go back and rectify what I was saying in that episode now, and I'm sure when it goes up everybody will be saying, oh, what are you talking about, they look amazing. But I'm warming to them, I am. Now that I've seen their animations, like their slash laugh is hilarious. They actually get on the floor and start rolling around. It's really cool. So I'm kind of warming to it. They're different to the Asura we knew in Guild Wars 1, but you know what, sometimes you got to accept a bit of change, and I do like the way they look, so I definitely did want to point that out. I quite enjoyed that. Anyway, Hayda says, I've been looking all over for you. It's starting. What's starting, Hayda? She looks quite cool, actually. I quite like her hair. Hayda says, oh god, this is a big one. I've been speaking with an ambassador from the White Mantle. They're willing to discuss the option of peace with the Shining Blade and a better resolution for the situation in Kryta. I dropped your name and they wanted you to come along. They seem very interested in you. What the hell's attacking us? More raptors. What a shock. I finally have a chance at glory. Everyone will remember me if I am not only a great warrior, but a great arbiter of peace. Livia should be green with jealousy. We shouldn't tarry a moment longer. See, this is a bit of a weird quest. This would have been the perfect opportunity for them to slip in a bit of Livia dialogue there if she's in the party, but I guess they didn't. So yeah, an ambassador of peace from the White Mantle. Of course, White Mantle have got their ambassadors and stuff. In fact, one of the first Crichtons we ever met was Ambassador Zane. He's quite cool, actually, isn't he? We really haven't learned much about him. In the content that comes after Eye of the North, it seemed... I'm not going to talk about it too much here, I'm jumping way ahead, but it seemed like there's going to be something really cool going on with Ambassador Zane, but then it sort of didn't happen. I'll talk about that more. That's really for the next sort of section of the Let's Play, if you will. So, basically, we're going to be going all the way up here. It's just kind of an excuse to take us to the top. I love these eggs. This is so cool. Jurassic Park or what? But yeah, this is really just an excuse to go to the very top right hand corner. There's a dungeon up there. Do you remember in the other episode? I think I'm going the wrong way. I need to come down here. Do you remember in the other episode I was talking about the optional route to get here to do all that primary quest? Yeah, you'd actually get here through that method by going through that cave, if you like. There's actually a really cool quest there. It's like a huge reference to Red vs Blue, which I'm a big fan of. So in fact, when I first played it though, I didn't really watch Red vs Blue. I was quite late on that train, I guess. But now that I really like Red vs Blue, and now that I've sort of seen all of it, going back through that dungeon is going to be pretty awesome. That'll be one on the definite list for sure, for me to do content of. The other reason why I'm doing this footage now instead of waiting for the end of Gamescom is that basically I thought, oh wait, and because there's where everyone's at Sparkfly Fen, it will be so cool, and I'll have all these things I can talk about changing. Sadly, it hasn't turned out like that. The world has changed a lot in 250 years. Sparkfly Fen, this kind of section here of the world, is so different in Guild Wars 2. Basically, and we don't know very much why at the moment of me recording this. Basically, all of the southern Shiver Peaks have changed a lot. Like, all of this section here is kind of become grassland. Don't forget, when all rose back out of the sea, all being here, it flooded a lot of the area. So all of the terrain around here has just changed loads. This area, the southern Shiver Peaks, they're actually called the Steam Spur Mountains, come Guild Wars 2. I think some really interesting stuff is happening with the dredge there, but they're just very, very, very different. So yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of demos of people running around with their Sylvari or their Asura, and see them fighting to Quattle the Sunless, which is a brilliant dragon boss and stuff. But there's generally nothing really you could say, oh, this was here in Guild Wars 1. There's a cavern, there's a place called the, what's it called, the Diasite Caverns. They could potentially be the Bloodstone Caves, which would be cool. But you just can't really tell, guys. It's just changed so much, which is, in a way I like it, in another way I don't like it. I love it when, like last year in the demos, we saw high-level char area stuff near the brand, and you remember the giant crystal all the way back here in Ascalon? I did point it out in the Let's Play, but you can actually see that again in the demo, and that was just so awesome, just to see that in 250 years. The fact it was still there, this crystal that had come down during the searing, which we now think is probably a part of Kralkatoric's power or something. But yeah, you don't really see much of that here, which is a shame, but there you go. What other stuff happened? Really, I've also noticed that video I did before where I was talking just like I'd just seen a couple of minutes of stuff and did a video. I was pretty wrong about a lot of stuff. There was that thing I called a Jotun. I don't think it actually is a Jotun. It's a Cyclops. There are these giant Cyclopses. Never seen Cyclopses in Guild Wars 1. I'll tell you that for nothing. There were no Cyclopses. But here in Guild Wars 2, we had this giant one. Who knows where it's from? A lot of speculation. I don't think I mentioned it in the episode, but there's been a lot of speculation. Indeed, it's one of the first things I thought of. Remember Beetleton? It talked about giants to the north of the, I think, what is it? The Greater Giants Basin, I think. From all this area up here. Maybe the Cyclopses were from there. Why are they at Sparkfly Fen? Who knows? I think they were undead Cyclopses, actually. A part of sort of Zaitan pushing out with the Orions and stuff. Just generally some cool stuff has happened. We didn't really learn much about the Iron Forgeman, or we haven't yet. What other lore stuff happened? Oh yeah, there was this brilliant audio interview with Rhys Osby. A lot of it was bogged down with Sylvari stuff, and I get it. Yes, lots of people like the Sylvari, and especially a lot of the lore heads really like Sylvari. I'm not really that into the race, and so a lot of the lore interviews are like just full of Sylvari crap, and this was no exception. But sort of later on, Rhys started talking about all these amazing things to do with Ore and the city of Ara, and all the temples that were there because the gods actually lived there with the humans, and just some really interesting insights. Particularly, she mentioned sort of an area there to Abaddon, which will be really cool. I can't wait till the end of Guild Wars 2 because that's going to be the climax of the game, right? That's the very end of the game. Everything's twisted and corrupted. You're going to have all of the Zaitan's biggest, baddest minions. Zaitan himself maybe flying around with your whole army or vigil or whatever in tow, and it's just going to be in this environment in Ore that's just so steeped in history and lore that we've been hearing about for so long but never actually quite been able to go there. It just sounds like it's going to be a perfect climax to the game. It's just going to be really cool. Lots of simians over there, by the way. So that was very exciting to me. What else on the lore front? I can't quite think, really. They did talk about the airships for a bit. I'll mention those in a bit. Anyway, so here we go. Sorry, God, I'm not talking about what I'm doing in this episode at all. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to go on about Gamescom too much. But, right, okay, here's the White Mantle. Where's Hayda? She is with us. Yeah, good. Alright, what are we doing? Are we speaking to them? Assemble with the White Mantle for their peace talks. Okay. Alright, so there's a group here, but they don't want anything to do with us. Set up suspiciously for an ambush, don't you think? Yeah. More up here. More here. Just a hell of a lot of them, generally. Some of them aren't actually... Oh, no, they're simians. Okay. Who are we speaking to? Oh. Ambassador Carnage? Hayda, is this the guy? This is the ambassador? With the zealots? Why do I feel like this quest is bugged out? Was I supposed to speak to someone else? Hello? Oh no, here we go. Alright, so Hayda's talking to him. It's good to see you able to attend, Hayda, and you, Tom Bluewood. We have gathered here to discuss an issue that is near and dear to the hearts of all present. You can probably guess by my lack of enthusiasm for this quest, these peace talks aren't going to go very well. Yes, the talks of peace between our peoples. Let me just start by saying... Oh, no, allow me to start by saying we are all incredulous that you were so easily lured into our trap. What? Wait, trap? What does a trap have to do with peace? Nothing, Hayda. Nothing. In your quest for glory, you have overlooked the most simple things. The White Mantle will betray you. Absolutely nothing. You and your ilk have been a thorn in the White Mantle's side for far too long. Killing you and a great hero, namely me, will be glorious. Unbelievable! You all screwed up my chance at fame and respect. Who's going to tell stories about me now? Nobody. You're going to die, every last one of you. See, this is why I don't really like Hayda that much. Oh, great. Simians are going to fight us at the same time. Are you serious? Because she doesn't really care about the White Mantle, taking them out. She doesn't really care about the Shining Blade or peace in Kryta. Because, you know, Ascalon's ruined. Stuff's all going to go to shit and downhill in Cantha and in Alona. Well, I don't know whether we can really say that things go bad in Cantha. They become xenophobic and sealed off from the rest of the world, but maybe their nation becomes pretty awesome. Unless they really piss off the Tengu and there's sort of lots of infighting to do with that. But yeah, basically, she should care more about Kryta. And she just cares about her own fame, which is cool. I like to see flawed characters. I like it a lot. In fact, one of my, as I was talking about with the Sylvari week, one of the things I liked most about that was just the fact that they made Kaith seem like a flawed character, which was just brilliant. I really like to see that. Not everybody's a goody two-shoes hero, which is exactly what we need for more depth in this story, because there's a lot of potential here. There we go, alright, that's the ambassador dead. Is that the quest finished? No, we have to defeat them. We've got 4 groups remaining out of 5. We've only beaten 1. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was going to start talking about the airships. There's not been much lore about them. My hunch is, basically we saw this shot of loads of airships around Lion's Arch. My hunch is that the airships came from Lion's Arch and are around there, because Lion's Arch is like a melting pot of all the races. This is where all the races essentially come to forget about all of sort of the racism between them and all their distrust for each other, essentially. And if airships are around there, I'd like to think that maybe it's the technology that is sort of the Magitech that the Asura have been working on, along with the more industrial works of the Char, along with, you know, just the fact that Lion's Arch is a port, maybe the Norn with their heavy lifting and stuff. Them all coming together and working together, and they've managed to create these awesome inventions, these airships. And aside from that, though, really all we can do is speculate about them. We have had confirmation that they're not going to be player-owned, sadly. You're not going to be able to fly them around, but it has been said that they're going to be very, very important in the personal story. So I think what we're all thinking, right, is that towards the end of Guild Wars 2, we're going to sort of have a massive fleet of airships coming in and assaulting Ore. I mean, that's a pretty cool idea, I think. I'd like to see that. Like me talking about that big fight with all the Vigil at our side, maybe. It would be very cool to think of all these airships coming along with us in the sky, and just they've got all these little pieces that are moving into place, and I'm starting to visualise such an awesome end to the game. I really am. But yeah, so that's really it on the airships front. They're cool. I've always liked them, been an advocate of them, as I talked about in the previous episode. Okay, so there we go, they're all dead. Thank you, we've struck a great blow to the White Mantle, but I hold no illusions that this was entirely my fault. My desire for glory overwhelmed my caution. It would seem that I still have much to learn about the path of a great hero, such as yourself. Yes, okay. Nice dramatic sigh there from Hayda. So yeah, another character pretty much exactly the same as Livia. She has a revelation and decides to join us. But Hayda's not really that interesting further on in the plot. She's like Zandra, or she's like Carmu. You get this interesting story at the start, but that's about it. So hello, Bartholos.
What news?
Hayda actually thought the White Mantle would not betray her? You can't be serious. That girl is an excellent fighter, but does not have the sense the gods gave geese. What, confirmation of geese interior there, guys. Worse, none of the other Shining Blade will trust her now. Look, she seems to listen to you. Can you take her on? I've no doubt that she'll become a valuable asset under your charge. You're damn straight. Alright, there we go. Hayda is a young, talented, but impulsive paragon who dreams of becoming a legendary hero. She bridles against traditional rules and restrictions and seeks to attain her goals on her own terms. Now, you guys should probably be aware. I don't want to kick Talon. I like Talon and Zoe so much, but we're going to have to kick one of them. This account has got like no skills unlocked on it at all, really. If you actually look at my heroes, I've done nothing with them. So I'm going to add her simply because, you know, she's not a part of the team and I want it for sort of the roleplay purposes, if you will. Not that I'm much of a role player, but I kind of fear that at the default state these heroes are actually making me weaker. So later on in the Let's Play, if Tom is really struggling, I mean, he will eventually reunite with Peter and with Matt, but if he is starting to struggle, you'll have to excuse me and I'll have to sort of kick some of these guys. Like, I've got no elementalist elites. This is kind of the situation we're in here. I guess I could give him Signet of Spirit now. Alright, so that just to warn you guys. Anyway, right, so that's that quest done. Like I said, Hayda's not that interesting later. She's not like Livia. I'll just tell you guys straight away, Livia becomes a hugely important character. She, at the time of recording this, she's one of the most mysterious, interesting things because of all kinds of cool stuff to do with the Scepter of Awe and stuff, which I'll get into when we get into it. But yeah, Hayda generally not so much. Vec obviously very important. Zandra not so much either, so it'll probably be one of those that gets the boot. Anyway, 17 minutes, but I do want to do another quest, so we are going to speak to Saren, maybe? I don't know, these quests are all a little bit boring here. Scout, Kara doesn't have anything to say. She just tells us about Sage's ashes. Right, okay, yeah, we're going to speak to Saren and we're going to do these two quests that sort of just dip us into the cave a little bit.
How can I help?
Okay, so, Crystal Method is the big one. I'll let you guys read that if you want. That's the one that will take us back into the dungeon.
May the gods protect
but the
you.
Blade's Essence and Arrow's Point are essentially the same. Hail Tom Bluewood, our scouts have continued exploring the Bloodstone Caves since you and Gadd reached the Bloodstone. I wonder what Gadd's actually been doing with the Bloodstone since then. They never really tell you that much. We will meet him again, obviously, later, because now he's been recruited for the Golem project. Anyway, they've reported some pretty odd Etin behaviour. The brutes are harvesting a strange, shimmering essence, perhaps to restore the dungeon's defences. We're not really sure. One thing is certain, though, if the essence is tied to the Bloodstone, then it contains power. Perhaps we could enchant our blades with it. We don't have the numbers to deal with the beast, so I ask this of you. Bring the essence to me. Destroy anything that gets in your way. Will you do this? Okay, time is of the essence.
How can I
Gather
help?
your own perfume. The Arrow's Point is essentially the same. Back again, Tom. Good. The Guardians of the Bloodstone Caves are harvesting arcane crystal shards deep within the dungeon. We are in need of more supplies, and in the hands of a good Fletcher, those shards can turn ordinary arrows into armor-piercing thunderbolts. Before our archers, the White Mantle will be little more than a legion of leaky flesh bags. Go, fetch me a crystal. Okay, I like your style. So they're essentially the same kind of quests. I think they're... I don't know, actually. These are quite cool quests. Maybe they're kind of alluding to sort of crafting system in the sequel. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. But what I'm going to do is cut it. So you will see me go through this portal and then automatically be at the Bloodstone Cave. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so I was actually going to cut it straight to the other loading screen, but I just wanted to quickly demonstrate this. You can repeat the mission we were in before, I think, by speaking to the inscription stone to examine it. But to get just directly into this, you just walk to the door, it will glow, and then open on its own, which is really cool, actually. It's pretty awesome. So don't get confused by that, guys. That I used to always get confused. You don't click that, you just walk and the door will open on its own. I guess this game kind of trains you to just start clicking all of the anything with a green exclamation mark, but that's not how this works. If you were to click that, you would have been teleported into the mission instead, and yeah, basically you would have had to have made the trip back. Right, so we're now in the Bloodstone Caves, but just as an explorable version. And we've got quests to do here, I think, on the top floor. We should, anyway. Let me have a look. Defeat the Crystal Etin. Why don't I have a quest marker? What about the other quest? The Blade's Essence? Defeat the Paranoia Etin. Well, we've got a Forge Master here. I'm probably just going to wander around. You guys have already seen this floor, so I'm just going to wander around until we find him. So I'll see you guys in a bit, because I want to keep this in one episode. Oh, there we go. I was literally just about to give up and say, oh, maybe we have to be into the mission, which is ridiculous. But okay, so here we go. Here's the Paranoia Etin. Here's one of two. Lots of Etins around here, actually. You gotta watch out for traps. In fact, I just had an amazing pull. I probably won't leave it in, but I managed to trick all these incubuses to like walk right into the flame thing. My team is falling apart really quickly. I'm a little bit scared that one of these heroes is gonna have to get the axe. But there we go. So one's dead. Oh, he actually drops the dungeon key as well. So anyway, there's the shimmering essence we wanted. So let's grab that. So that's one done, and the other one is the arrow's point. So there's a crystal in around here as well that we've got to find, so I will see you guys when we found him. Cool stuff. Okay, I just checked Wiki. It turns out this next Etin is actually in the second floor of this dungeon. As you can see by my death penalty, we've just been falling around dead constantly like dominoes. So I'm going to leave that until we do the dungeon properly later on in the Let's Play, or at the end of the Let's Play. There's really nothing interesting. You just kill the Etin and then you take it back to Thingy and Cheese, or, oh, these arrows are of great quality, thank you. That's why I'm so uninterested in this quest, really. There's nothing great of the lore. But aside from that, that's every single quest around here complete, as far as I'm aware. All the interesting little anecdotes. So yeah, we can actually leave Gadd's encampment. Now, there are two very, very cool, interesting quest chains in the Tarnished Coast, which we will be doing. One of them is heavily about the gods and about the dragon type things that we found in Glint's lair. Where the hell am I cashing this in? And the other one is, I don't even want to say it, I'm not going to spoil it. The other one's probably one of my favourite quest chains in the game, though. So we might do those next, or we'll do the primary quest next.
Welcome, friend.
I don't know which, but interesting. Yes, we can definitely use this. Our problems may outnumber our blades, but if our swords are the sharpest, let's just say our solutions will come quickly. I'm looking forward to mediating a few disputes myself. The Shining Blade thanks you, Tom Bluewood. This will be put to good use. Great, okay, so all that stuff to look forward to, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed filming it, and I will see you next time.